What's up guys, my name is Kyle White. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and today we're going to talk about what you need to appear taller than what you actually are. I myself am around 5'8", and I've found certain ways with what I know and what I've learned from being a physical therapist to appear taller in social interactions and therefore boost confidence and have a better interaction with my peers. Now, what we're going to get into at the beginning of this video is going to be what you specifically need for your body type to appear taller. So what you need may be a little different than what Joe over here needs. So with that, we'll kind of get into a breakdown. Alright, so toward the end of this video, I'm actually going to give you a few of my personal hints of what I do in different situations to appear taller. So stick around for that. Now, I mentioned the body breakdown, and what I mean by that is mainly the tilt at the pelvis. Now, you've got to figure out, are you somebody who is in more of an anterior pelvic tilt, more of a forward pelvic tilt? I want you to kind of find these bones on the front of your pelvis. Are those bones pointed more down and rotated forward? Or are you somebody in more of a posterior tilt with these bones kind of trying to face up? And so you can find those bones very easily. Just kind of follow kind of that V to the front and kind of figure out, are you somebody who walks like this more so, and I'm exaggerating, or are you somebody that walks like this with more of a butt poke out? Now, obviously, of the two, when we're trying to look a little bit taller, an anterior tilt is going to be the better option versus a posterior tilt. But you can be excessively anterior tilted, where you're so far here that you actually lose height at the top. So you actually coming past that peak middle position where you're as tall as you can be, and you kind of come a little bit forward and you lose a little bit off the top. Not a lot, but enough to be noticed. And so we're going to get into specific exercises for each of those. Kind of look at yourself, walk around a little bit, find those bones in the front, figure out which one you are, and we'll get into it. Alright, so maybe you decided that you're somebody who kind of has a slouch, a rounded lumbar spine. You're more here, and I'm probably exaggerating, but say this is you, and you're losing height at the top because you're more rounded here at the bottom. See this all the time. People walk in with their hips way out in front of their chest. I don't see how some people walk like that. But the way we want to correct this is to just perform pelvic corrects, anteriorly tilting there. Do those repetitively throughout the day. Make it a habit, make it habitual, and you're going to come from here to there, and you're going to gain, I'd say probably 1.5 inches I just gained right there. Not only that, you're putting yourself in a better, more confident looking position, more attractive to women if you're a male, or vice versa, however you want to go with that. But how do we make this posture more long lasting? And the best way to do that, to come from here to there, is going to be to strengthen those hip flexors. And so a great exercise you can actually do, and you can do it anywhere, is just a march. So we're just marching in place. We'll do this for around 2 minutes. And that hip flexor actually runs from the very front of your femur up to your lower lumbar spine, and that's why it's such a great exercise just to do this. Alright, we're 2 minutes there. I'm going to show you how to progress that. You've done the march, you're thinking, this is silly, this is not hard, how is this going to improve my posture? Well, let's make it a little more challenging. What I've done is put a band, resistant TheraBand, around my feet, and I'm just going to march here. You can either do static holds at the top, because what we're trying to do is shorten this muscle. So if we do holds at the top, we're strengthening in a shortened range. We're getting that muscle adapted to a more shortened position, causing hypertrophy, and we're pulling ourselves into a better posture here. So maybe you found that you're too anteriorly tilted, so you're too far here, and so you're losing a little bit off the top because of it. A great exercise to train your body to get in more of a neutral tilt is actually get up on a wall, kind of do half of a wall sit here. You can kind of see that there's space between my back and the wall here. And so what we want to do is flatten out that space. we want our spine to be pressed up against the wall, and we're coming from here to more of a neutral tilt. And so the way to train that muscle, we're actually just engaging our core a little bit more. Core weakness is the root of many problems. So there's space here in my natural form. I'm flattening out the spine. I'm holding this for 10 seconds. I'm going to perform this exercise 10 times. And make this habitual, make this a daily routine 3 to 4 times a day. Because if we're going to break habits, we've got to be very consistent and meaningful with our exercise. Come out of that hold and back down. 10 seconds. And that's how you correct an anterior tilt. So we've addressed the pelvis, and you've got to be thinking there's got to be more to this than that. There's got to be ways, there's got to be better ways for me to look taller than just those 2 exercises, and you're exactly right. So now we're going to kind of address things up the chain a little bit. So we're going to kind of look at our neck. Are we somebody who naturally comes here a little bit? Does this display confidence? No. Does this look tall? No. We can come from here to there, and we gain at least an inch very easily. And so the main muscles we want to train to get in a better neck posture are deep cervical neck flexors. And so the best way to strengthen those are come into a little bit of a chin tuck. And the goal of this exercise is to always make as many double chins as you can. Doesn't look good in the moment, but it'll look good once you're out in a gathering and you've already trained these muscles to pull you up tall and go from 5'6" to 5'8", or 5'8" to 5'10". And so with this, coming back, and I like to give myself a little tactile cueing with my hands here. 5-second hold, 30 times. Kind of coming in and out. 5-second hold, 30 times. And the goal of this exercise is to flatten out the back of the cervical spine here. So if we're too extended there, we flatten that out, and see how chest naturally comes up when I do that, because it's pulling me into a more vertical posture. Think about a line hanging from the ceiling or a wall. It's perfectly straight, so we're pulling our spine into a perfectly straight position. And that pulls me right into my next exercise I'm going to show you, which is just a scapular squeeze. So you just want to squeeze your shoulder blades together. You can even go chin tuck, hold, and then squeeze. And now you're working more postural muscles that will help fill that void of the lumbar cervical spine being forward. So we were here, chin tuck, 5-second hold 30 times, and then we can add in a scapular squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and back out. And no, I don't want you to be out and about like this. We're training these muscles so when that time comes, they're strong, they're ready, and you're in a good position. Another great exercise for posture and training these muscles to pull you to be as tall as you can be is a wall angel. And so a wall angel, a lot of people forget we want to address pelvis and upper extremity factors as well. So get that tilt at your pelvis. If you are anteriorly tilted, flatten out your spine. We want the spine as straight as can be. There's nothing straighter than a wall. And so we flatten out our bottom spine. We kind of come, we get our neck. We try to flatten out our neck against the wall. And then we come here and we're coming up. And this is why it's called a wall angel. And I'm kind of struggling. If you're really holding the pelvis there and you're holding the chin contraction, it's more difficult. And that leads me to believe that there are some posture deviations that I could address. And I knew that coming in. And a good 30 of these will be good. And again, really focus on that pelvis. All right, I'm going to kind of wrap up this video with what I promised in the beginning, some of my quick hints, quick tips to appear taller in social interactions. I try to move through these videos as quickly as possible, so if you have a question about the wall angel or any other exercise we've done today, drop a comment and I'll be sure to answer you back as quickly as possible. And so some of the things that I do, and this is, a little embarrassing to admit, but it works. So if you find yourself being overwhelmed with tall people, maybe you're 5'8" like myself, or maybe you're 5'11" and you're just around 6'8" people the whole day, kind of find yourself with more pressure on your toes. Just kind of shift your weight from your heels to your toes, and you're kind of hovering there. People do that all the time. It's no secret, but it is an effective way, and especially if you're somebody that's in a posterior tilt, shifting to your toes kind of naturally pulls you into more of an anterior tilt. You see that a lot with toe walkers as babies. They're in a lot of anterior tilt. It's the same thing for adults. We get on our toes, we naturally get more anterior tilt. Another thing, don't stand on slopes. Don't stand on the low side of a concrete sidewalk. If you're already 5'8" and you're standing around 6'8" people, you're going to look like a midget. Don't do that. Find the high ground. You look taller that way. I'm not big on putting heel cushions and different things in my shoes. I just don't like, being unstable in my shoes, but those are options that are out there. I just like to feel like my shoe fits me and that I'm comfortable. I don't like putting my knees in a poor biomechanical position, because a lot of times if you get on more of a heel, girls can tell you this with high heels, that puts a lot of pressure on your knees, and with 2 knee surgeries, I don't do that. But that's pretty much going to wrap up this video. That's all I got today on this topic. Be sure to stay tuned into the channel. We got a lot of good things coming, and if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, give us some support. We love bringing this to you. We'll see you next time.